Hey, and welcome back to another episode of Transient Thoughts Podcast. If you are listening for the first time, then please head on over to iTunes and download our other episodes. You don't have an iTunes account? Well, that's okay. Then head on over to our hosting page at transientthoughtspodcast.libsyn.com. That's Libsyn. No matter where you listen to us at, please remember to always rate and comment our show. Also, you can find us on Twitter at podcast_TT or our Facebook page. Also, remember to listen live on Mixlr.com, MIXLR. If you'd like to contact us directly, then feel free to email us at transientthoughtspodcast@gmail.com. Transient Thoughts Podcast.
Hello, people. We're back. It's Transient Thoughts. It's been a little bit. It's probably been 2 weeks. We gave it a little holiday week, and some shit came up. But really, what we were doing is we're just making you wait for it.
Yeah.
Wait and get you nice and wet. Come in and rip them panties off. Fuck your ears. My voice. I'm Mike Coke.
I'm James.
And it's James. No Brian this week. He had some shit go down that he's taking care of now. So we got no tech guy, but we're going to make it work. The whole point of this episode, number one, is to get back on air and start doing podcasts again. But number two, it's an update for update and kind of review of what we got going on and what we're trying to do. We've had a few technical difficulties in the past that we've been trying to work out. We're trying a new camera today, a GoPro camera.
Yeah. Thanks to the wife for Christmas. So she got me a nice GoPro. So we're gonna have some nice clear picture now. So we can get up on YouTube, no problem. We tried a bunch of different avenues, a bunch of different types of cameras and lighting and this and that. I think we got it all figured out. I think we
fucking jacket on.
I think we can really move forward now and really start get out there to more people. So you'll see this video on YouTube, and it's kind of our intro. Hey, welcome to our YouTube channel. I guess we should have done this in the first place, but like we said, we weren't set up for it. We are now. So
yeah, you got to tell your wife that that camera might be a fucking tax write-off. I don't know how that shit works, bro. That's what they should be teaching us in school, is fucking tax write-offs and shit, man. That's what rich people know. All right, so let's review this motherfucker. Where should we start? Let's start from the beginning. Episode 1 that you guys can't even fucking listen to unless you were part of the adventure from the beginning, because it's off iTunes. Speaking of which, we're back on fucking iTunes.
Yes. We were off iTunes for a little while. That was not our fault. iTunes decided they were going to be...
They fucked up.
Yeah, they did. Well, they fucked up and we fucked up, because I guess you can't have the word iTunes in the description of any of your podcasts.
What kind of bullshit is that?
I don't know. They're assholes.
Yeah.
So I wrote them several emails, and finally, after the second email, the nasty email, we were back on iTunes. So you can find us. Go on there, search Transient Thoughts Podcast. If you don't want to search it, you can go over to our website at Transient Thoughts Podcast at Libsyn or .libsyn.com.
Well, it's Transient Thought.
Transient Thought.
No
podcast.
S.
No S.
That was a whole nother fuck up right there. So yeah, all right. So we talked about on the last podcast, there is an error in the Libsyn address where it's Transient Thought, no S, podcast, .libsyn.com. Well, we talked to Libsyn and they let us change it to Transient Thoughts, so you guys could get on there and don't have to worry about, taking off that S off the thoughts. Well, that fucked everything up. Fucked iTunes up. We thought we had to change our name for a little bit. There's been a lot of shit going on these past 2 weeks. It's all smooth out. Hopefully now we can turn out some fucking good quality podcasts without any fucking audio or technical errors. I don't think we've done one without an error yet.
There's always been something. Always something. But I think that's kind of the nature of the beast, though. I mean, we went from listening to podcasts to sitting in the truck thinking, fuck, we're going to do this ourselves.
That's true.
Well, and then we were like, what's the cheapest way we can do this possible? And we realized you can't do this for cheap.
You can't slack on the audio, bro.
No,
everyone could tell.
The audio, and now the video. I mean, you have to put some cash into it in order to really get a good product.
Yeah,
and it takes everybody. Like today, you see the computer and the soundboard and stuff in the camera shot, and But that's because Brian's not here, and you start realizing how many people it takes to really get this going.
Yeah, for sure. let's see. Other than that, I mean, fuck, we should be good to go. Yeah, back to that first podcast. Fuck, I was talking about. Yeah, we had to take that down because I think me and Eno came to the agreement that
it was a little rough.
Yeah, it was a little rough. The audio wasn't horrible. It was the content that was a little rough. Like we just really talked about a lot of things that people, I guess,
raunchy things,
yeah, wouldn't appreciate. And it's weird because it's like we're trying to get like legit people on here. You know, been in talks with a few people that I don't even really know. You know, it's just that reaching out, and I'm having a lot of good luck reaching out with people and some really interesting people. And it's like when you tell someone about your podcast and you want them to listen to it, the first thing they do is go to number one. Some people go to the latest one. Some people go to number one. Then you have those weirdos that just pick a random one and start listening. But if they would have went to the first one, that's not the first impression that we need to be making.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but it was good though, man. I mean, we explained how it came to be and like why we were doing this. The whole point of the podcast is trying to get different people on here and just kind of shoot the shit, talk to them, different. Yes, I'm not opposed to having just random ass people on here that I like talking to, and we can have a good conversation because, you know, that's always fun. But I also wanted to reach out to people I didn't know and kind of get their expertise, or, you know, talk to them about what their expertise is and kind of pick their brains about certain subjects. We don't really keep to an agenda or keep to like a script. It's kind of all over the place, but that's the whole point. That's why it's Transient Thoughts. I mean, fuck, it's the same thing. It's an ADD podcast. That's what it is. All over the place. What's up?
I was just gonna say, and then number 2, we went on Ben. Ben was great. I loved Ben. It was really interesting. I had never actually taken the time to talk to anybody who lived the life like he lived, and, you know,
yeah.
And, if for those of you who haven't listened to Ben, 1, you should go over there and listen to it, and 2, Ben was a squatter for a long time, and talked about his travels across the country and things that he's planning on going out and doing, like a long ass yacht trip, or right? I mean,
yeah, all that shit kind of got set back though because he hurt his shoulder working. He pulled something, and so he's kind of like. He was in a sling for, you know, a month or so, and he's just now getting his range of motion back, but he got a little bit delayed.
Well, that sucks.
Speaking of which, I'm kind of dating his sister now.
Oh,
you know, shout out.
Yeah, I was going to say name drop.
We're still cool, though. We're still cool. Good friends. But yeah, no, for sure. Ben, it's funny because we had
Does Ben know?
Yes.
Okay.
Now
he does now.
It was really awkward. You know how I told him? Like, he knew. He had to have known. There's no hiding it. But we were talking. We were just chilling one day, and he asked me what I was doing for New Year's. And I was actually going down to St. Pete with her and to hang out with her friends. And I was just like, I can't tell him I'm going to St. Pete with his sister without, like, explaining everything. And I didn't know where to start, so I was like, Ben, I'm trying to date your sister. That was it. We just took it from there. But he was, bro, he's a super, super chill guy. I thought it was funny that for the Transient Thoughts podcast, we had a transient for our first episode. I don't even know if we can really call him a transient. But that's not really the transient we were going for, was it?
Well, I mean, he was at one time.
Yeah.
You would call him a reformed transient.
Ben's so funny. Ben never wore shoes for like the first few years that I knew him, dude. Just black ass fucking feet, dude.
Get them homeless people with the Circle K feet.
So funny, man. Just never wore shoes. We'd go out and you'd just be walking around barefoot, man. That's his thing. That's his thing.
But you know, it's when you surround yourself with people from different walks of life, you get like all these different views.
Yeah, man.
And you know, you can really see the world from ways that you would never have thought about looking at it.
No, that was the goal, man. Like I have this group of friends, and it's like you kind of extract different things from your different friends, like, you know, and it's really nice. It's really nice to have a good mixture of people. It also helps so you don't get, like, I feel like if you have a mixture of the same people, that's how you become a douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, all these douchebag habits you have, and all your friends just support it because they're all the same. And then it's like you go out into the real world, and everyone's like, well, this guy's a douchebag, you know? And it's like, well, you got to come back. You look at your circle of friends, understand why now, you know?
Exactly. And then number 3, episode
friend.
3,
Another
for
friend.
Nackies. That
Fucking
was
best
good.
friend.
That was a good one. Jeff told us about his tours overseas in the military.
Yeah, it's funny, man. That was a really good podcast. It got cut short because Jeff might have had some hot tail waiting for him at home, and he's like, "I gotta get back to the house." But no, it was cut a little bit short. We only got a chance to really talk about like a couple different stories and just kind of bullshit. But fuck, dude, we can go on for hours. It's funny because like I really like that podcast. I mean, even though it was all shit that we've talked about before, but having you kind of involved in it is a little bit of different. But he didn't think it was a good podcast. He's like, man, I felt like it sounded stupid, blah, blah. Dude, everyone that has listened to that podcast has liked that podcast. That it is actually, like, I've talked to a few people and they say that's their favorite one.
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I had a great time, and I didn't talk a whole lot in that episode, and that's mostly because I didn't want to take away from his story. Like I wanted to hear the story. I was just as much a listener of the podcast as anybody else.
That's the goal. Yeah, man, be captivated.
Yeah, and I really was. I was. And move on to number 4, Tyler Niehoff. Now this is where we really started going long. Our podcast went from average size to probably about 3 hours.
This is like 2.5.
2.5. We talked to him for a long
It might have
time.
been close to 3. We did. Bro, but that's Tyler, man. Tyler, he's the man. He fucking knows his shit, dude.
Yeah.
He knows his shit, even though he was wrong about Star Wars, that motherfucker. He watched this video on his review on Star Wars, and I should have known he was all about it. And then I went and watched the movie, and I was just upset. I didn't understand what was going on.
What? You were upset? I thought it was an amazing movie.
Are you a big Star Wars fan?
I wouldn't say big. I mean, my house isn't covered in Star Wars stuff, but I mean, I know I have the general knowledge of the universe. I mean,
yeah. It was a decent movie, but it was only if you were a Star Wars fan. Like I didn't really. I've watched all the Star Wars. I just haven't followed them. I don't even think I've ever watched them in order. I don't really know the order of shit that shit goes on, but I know all the shit that happened. And so I was kind of like lost, and I felt like it wasn't a good standalone sci-fi movie.
No, I don't think it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be a sequel, a next. Here's what's next, and you have to think that this is the first in the new trilogy. So this movie had to really set up the story for what's to come next, and I think they did a good job of that at the very end. And I'm not gonna. I know that pretty much everybody has seen it.
I don't even know the end.
You don't even know the end,
bro. We went. Yeah, I was at
Where's Tyler when you need him?
Right, I was at the Marion Theater in Ocala. It's like our downtown, like old school theater, and they serve like wine and beer, and I got a bottle of wine, got fucked up.
You got a bottle of wine at the Star Wars movie?
Drank the whole bottle. Man.
Oh my god,
whole bottle.
I went
fucked up and fell asleep.
I went the Thursday it premiered. That Thursday,
shit!
Yeah, we were there that night. It was a long line, but for some reason I don't understand why the people refused to pay for the 3D version versus the regular version. So I paid for the 3D just because I like 3D.
Yeah, me too.
And some movies, granted, aren't worth it. And I would say that this movie only had a couple of real good 3D scenes, and you probably could have gotten away with doing with the 2D. But when we got in there, the theater was only like half full.
Oh shit!
And it was the earlier version, so I'm like, even if you weren't a fan of the 3D, why not go ahead and pay for it and go see it earlier than the people who are waiting to see it normal? I don't know. I liked it.
I love that 3D shit, man. Like I was upset because I wanted to watch Jurassic World, Jurassic World in 3D, and I didn't get a chance to. But talking to people, man, a lot. I would say over 50% of the people I talk to don't like 3D movies because it makes them feel sick or gives them a headache or makes them feel a little cross-eyed.
They're just pussies.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get headaches and shit. I mean, sometimes I feel a little cross-eyed, but it's like if the movie is good enough, bro, I'm not fucking thinking about my eyes.
No,
dude.
no, I'm engrossed in the movie.
Fuck yeah, I think I'm running from dinosaurs or some dumb shit, man.
There was one. I can only think of really one good scene that I thought that the 3D was worth it. Was where, and I'm going to name it wrong. Like I said, I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, so I'm going to name the ship wrong. But it was the big, I think it was Starship Destroyer.
Oh, that's the Death Star.
No. This is the giant like point thing. I don't know. I'm going to get so many bad comments in this video. It was coming out of the screen and like right at you, and I thought that was a good one. Another scene where there was couple of starships that came down, and
Couple of Death Stars.
No.
I call every ship the Death Star. It makes it fun.
A couple of space. They were flying down real close to the horizon. The sun was setting behind them. It kind of reminded me like a Vietnam era movie or type thing.
That'd be cool.
It's kind of like reminiscent of those choppers that would come swooping down to drop off all the soldiers, were in a hot zone type deal. And I liked it a lot.
Those guys were getting fucked up over there, man.
Yeah.
I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, but like when you were getting dropped off, by helicopter in Vietnam, a majority of them were getting shot before they were hitting the ground. They're just dead bodies floating to the jungle floor.
So number 5.
Number five,
Tony Dawkins.
Shit, yeah, I forgot we kind of out of order on that. Yeah, Tony. Man, fuck it. That was another fucking good podcast, man.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah, like, number one, it was cool because the shit we were talking about on there, for those of you who didn't get a chance to listen to it, Tony had just gotten back from Anniston, Alabama. The Department of Homeland Security puts on a hazmat training, or it's kind of like would you say a weapons of mass destruction training? Because it's not really focusing on hazmat. Hazmat's part of it because that would be what's kind of that's what's going to be deployed to deal with certain chemical attacks and terrorist attacks. But we were talking about that was shit right after the Paris attacks.
Yeah.
And so we were talking about how one of the instructors there is part of the board, I guess, for Homeland Security, and he told everyone in the class that they will for sure 100% be a terrorist attack on U.S. soil before holidays. They didn't know when, they didn't know where, they didn't know how. It was just intelligence that they were gathering. They just didn't have actionable intelligence. And so we're talking about this, and then fucking 2 weeks later, 2 or 3 weeks later, sure enough, there's a fucking terrorist attack. As I think it happened while we were doing a podcast, and we were doing the one with Graham talking about gun control, and then fucking that's when San Bernardino.
Oh,
I don't know if you want to call it I don't know if that's what they were talking about. It just seemed like crazy fucking people. Fuck, so many crazy people. Tony's a good dude though, man.
I like talking to him a lot.
Yeah, he's a real good dude. You can kind of hear his kid in the background, kind of screaming every once in a while. But I mean, other than that, great podcast. Super, super, super cool dude. And we did a double that day. That was the day we did Emily and Tony.
Yeah.
Fucking Emily was another good podcast, man. A lot of people listen to Emily. Well, a lot of the guys we work with listen to Emily's podcast. And
not just her though. I mean, I thought Emily Scott was the podcast we did that was for about our union that we're involved in, and just general union. I don't know what that was. Just general union information that kind of applies to most unions across, the country, and telling us about how there's like generally a parent organization, NAGE, that's kind of over. I don't want to say over, but they are the mothership, and we're all the little tiny ships,
Yeah. NAGE is the Illuminati people. They're Illuminati. No, you know what? She did a good job of breaking.
She broke it down so well, dude.
She knows her shit, bro. She knows her shit. Whether you like her or not, she knows her shit. I liked it.
And this just popped in my head because somebody said this to me the other day. For those of you who think that our podcasts are too long, don't fucking listen. I really don't care if you think it's too long. I don't think if you think it's too short. I don't think if you don't like the subject matter. Guess what? Don't listen, because honestly, we're doing this because we enjoy it.
Yeah, bitch. Go fuck yourself.
That's pretty much it. So,
and then come out of your mouth and let it splat on your face.
Wow, that's so bad. So just go over here, give them a shot, listen to them, listen to the whole thing, because I got to tell you, we go through, I don't know, a full spectrum of conversation on generally the same topic for that whole podcast, and we cover a lot of really good material. That, like you said, the Tony Dawkins and Emily Scott ones, those are two really big ones on our. We can get stats of what's downloaded and such, and those are two really big ones. And so, while they may seem a little long, you need to give them a shot. Yeah,
you should pull up the stats real quick. We've been doing good, people. Yeah. Like we've been getting out there. It seems last time we checked, which was what, last month, it looked like all the podcasts were averaging around 50 views a piece. There's some that just got blown out of the water. I know Graham Judd's went pretty big.
Yeah, Graham's had a lot.
Yeah,
Well over 100.
Well over 100. And then, well, we put that fucking video on Facebook, and that shit had like 400 views.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we'll come back to that one. I'll talk about that one in a minute. So, number 7 was Graham Judd. And for those of you who don't know who Graham Judd is, he is one of the medics in Sumter County, and he actually got interviewed. I can't remember what news agency it was, for a video that he put on Facebook talking about the minimum wage deal, about how McDonald's people think that they should get $15 an hour, and I essentially said to go fuck off, and then we had a nice long conversation from there on out.
That's when Eno lost his shit. Fuck.
This is one of the only times I lost my shit.
Never go to McDonald's ever. Actually, you know what's funny, people? As soon as we got done with that podcast, we went to fucking McDonald's.
You sure as fuck did.
On purpose.
We got done. We're like, I'm hungry. You hungry? Yeah. Okay, let's go to McDonald's. It's the closest thing to the house. What can I say?
Exactly. Bro, like I've gotten a lot of heat from people between the Emily and the Graham podcast, and it's just people that we work with. It's not really like friends or like other people that are tuning in.
You're not friends with everybody you work with?
I am. No, I am. I don't even know, man. I don't want to use friends. That's too. I use friends.
Friends is a strong word.
Yeah, man. Because then if I call them friends, then I gotta call my true friends, my best friends, and then shit just gets complicated. Like, you guys are people I work with, but I really enjoy working with, and I love you guys, but you're not my friends. But anyways, no, Emily. First off, people just don't fucking like Emily. I mean, Emily's a fucking bitch, man. But
we asked her about that.
Yeah,
she's like, yeah, because
she's a bitch when she needs to be. Man.
Exactly. She's like, I have to be in order to go in there and handle the shit that I have to handle.
You know what she is? She's a boss bitch. She's a boss bitch. That's what she is. She goes in there and she runs shit, and people complain, but they don't complain to her, and or like they'll talk to me about some shit that's going on, and I'll have to like. I feel like a defense lawyer for fucking Emily, and it's like I'm going on trial and I'm fucking batting for her, and I'm like, trying to make her sound good or trying to at least justify some of the complaints that people have, and it's just like, why the fuck are you going through me? Don't talk to me about this shit. Go talk to Emily.
You know why? They're scared because she's a bitch.
Yeah, but it's like you hear some of the shit that they say, and it's like, no, bro, that doesn't even fucking make sense. It doesn't make sense. Go talk to her. Yeah. And then Graham, a lot of people just don't like Graham because he's outspoken, but I like outspoken people, man. Graham was a good podcast, I would say, because Graham was the first person. Maybe you can include Tyler in there. That fuck, dude, we didn't really need to talk, man, because Graham has a lot of opinions on a lot of different things, and his opinions are strong, but they're somewhat thought out, man. They're fairly well thought out, and I think sometimes he might come off the wrong way to certain people, especially people who aren't intellectuals, I would say, or don't really ponder big issues. Graham might come off a little strong, and he might come off a little insensitive, but I think those are people that are afraid to challenge him, or afraid to challenge themselves, man. Like, if the thing with Graham is he might have his mind set on an issue, and he's going to speak his mind about that issue, and as he should, like that's when you have your own opinion on something, and someone asks you about your opinion, then you express it. You don't change it for other people. But like, whenever we differed on opinions, and you would question a viewpoint or something that he said, and kind of go into depth, something you didn't agree with, it kind of seemed like you really did agree with him. He just didn't word it the correct way, or you guys are actually on the same page. He might be more focused on something else, but he also can see things from your viewpoint. You know, like he's not. I don't think he's a closed-minded person. So it's good to have opinions. Everyone should have their own opinions and their own viewpoints, and certain platforms express them. I hate when people try to force their opinions on me, and that's not what I'm trying to say that he did. But I mean, like, it's good for people to have their own opinions, but they have to be open-minded with their opinions. You can't be closed-minded. Overall, man, Graham's a fucking good dude, man. He's a good dude.
And it was a good podcast.
Yeah.
It was a damn good podcast. And that was a long one too. That was a really long one.
You can't help it with people. And that's really what it comes down to. Like, there's no fucking time.
No.
Like, there's no time frame on this. We haven't gone over 3 hours. We've gotten close a couple times. I'd like to keep it to 3 hours if we can. But if some shit's juicy, man, we might just have to put up a 2-part podcast,
Yeah,
you know, like,
fuck it, that'd be nice.
yeah, like with Graham, like we did kind of wrap that one up premature because that one could have went for 6 hours. It could have went all fucking day.
Oh, yeah.
Until a point where we were just all starving and grumpy at each other.
So
what's up?
The next one is Daniel Sandal. And so a little info about this one is that we had to put it up and then we took it down, needed to do some more editing that I didn't realize, and then it's up, and we tried to do a live streaming on YouTube through Google Hangouts. My laptop is very capable of a lot of things, but I think we might have put a little bit too much stress. Some of the video quality did suffer. And we had a lot of technical difficulties with that one. And I will say that while the video is okay and you might be able to work your way through it, honestly, I would just go over to iTunes, download that particular podcast and listen to that one, because that's where you're going to get all the info. And he has a lot of really good info. We didn't just talk about his amazing artwork, but we also talked a lot about PTSD and raised a lot of awareness about that. And I think that's a very important episode. So I would say please go over and download that episode if you're interested in that info.
Yes, please. He's a really cool dude, man. And check out his fucking artwork. Please,
oh God, man.
Please, people. If you listen to that podcast, just take the extra effort and go to his fucking website. I wish I could remember the name. Is it Dansun Photo Art or dansonphotos.com?
I think so.
Yeah, go to his fucking website. Just type in portraits of EMS. That was the latest book that he released.
I think so.
And fuck, dude, his shit is so mind blowing. Like, you'll be entertained. I guarantee you that you'll enjoy it.
He does a lot of EMS. He does some other stuff that I think is on his website, but he does a lot of EMS, firefighter, police type stuff, and it's just really amazing stuff, hardcore stuff, real stuff. That's one thing I like about it a lot. It was that it was real photos of how it's like in our life, and we talked to numerous times throughout the podcast about how those pictures would be a good way to really explain to our family members and our loved ones of what our life's like. Because if you're not in our field, you don't understand it. You're not going to, and we can explain it all day long. But until you see the things that we see with your eyes, which we don't want you to, because that's our chosen field and not yours, you're not ever going to really understand. But this gives you a glimpse into what it's like in the day of EMS or fire or police or anything else that he has paintings of.
Yeah, a shitty day.
Yeah, a shitty day.
The regular day is just regular shit.
Yeah, eat, sleep.
Yeah, eat bullshit.
Yeah.
Pick up these old people.
And the last one that we put up, man, I didn't realize it had been so long.
Yeah, dude, the 23rd.
Man, this is the 15th.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
That's even longer than
Yeah,
I thought.
exactly, dude. Man, I didn't believe. Okay, so I'm going to say sorry again for anybody who has been listening. I know consistency is number one in podcasting and YouTube channels. So from here on out, we're hoping that the new year is going to really sprout some new podcasts every week and really give some good consistency. But anyways, Ron and Irakli, that was two very interesting people that we work with that we decided we wanted to get on the podcast at the same time and let them go loose. Again, we had technical issues. Again, there is no video for that one. And the audio did get cut short. But what audio is on there is quite entertaining.
Great. Yeah, and it's low. Yeah, the audio is a little low, and that is because of the good sir Ron Page yelling in the motherfucking mic.
And now your eardrums are blown.
Yes. Yeah. Take that, motherfuckers. Yeah, Ron. Yeah. We were talking about religion and politics. And so here's where we made the mistake.
Religion and politics.
Yeah. 4 people talking about religion and politics is a bit much because there is a lot of opinions to be expressed when it comes to religion and politics and a lot of heated debate. Ron runs hot anyways. If we talk about anything, there's going to be a point in time where Ron starts yelling. and he's not yelling, like aggressively yelling at us. He's just, he gets
He's
hyped up,
enthusiastic.
man. He's super enthusiastic, and the dude's super fucking smart, man. We're going to get both of those guys back on here.
but not together.
Not together, individually, because I want to talk to both of them separately about shit, man. Like I really like Ron, dude. He's a really good guy. Once again, I wouldn't consider him a friend, but in a way, Ron, for me personally, Ron is almost like a role model to me, man, because he's a really intelligent dude, keeps himself in good shape. You know, he's got everything that you could want in life, you know, as far as like happy family. You know, he's successful at what he does, and he's super intelligent. You know, those are the kind of things you look up to, you know. And every time I talk to Ron, like we have a deep conversation, I'll always take something away, you know. And it's the same with fucking Irakli, man. Irakli is another super fucking good guy, dude. From day one, man, just me and Irakli riding around just talking, I was like, man, this guy's a fucking good guy.
Well, he's been through it and been there, done that for a lot of different things. I mean, and
He's lived a different life.
he
man.
has, with a different point of view and different upbringing, and
I want to talk to him about that. We need to
now
get
that is because he's from Georgia, right?
Georgia,
not the state, the country.
the country, and he's been through some hard times, man.
Yeah. And it's nice to sit down and talk to someone who's very open about having a non-American upbringing.
Right. Yeah, he's talked about the hard times there, and you know, just being in the military. Everyone has to do their military time there, and it's like he's telling me, like, every fucking decade there's another war or someone trying to advance on their territory because of the defensive advantage that it brings, because Georgia is kind of located in the mountains, and I believe it's surrounded by mountains, so you can kind of see anyone coming from a mile away, and you know, everyone wants that. So I wanted to talk to him about that. You know, he's a former MMA fighter, amateur. I don't think he ever went professional. I'm not sure though, but he still knows his shit. Every time we get together, we talk. I don't know fucking dick about fighting, which takes a lot for me to admit, because if you would have talked to me maybe like a year ago, I'd tell you I'll fucking whip anyone's ass. But it's more of like a survival thing. It's not more of a fighting thing. Maybe I felt like if I needed to, I could fucking make some shit happen. But then it's like you get with Irakli, and I start talking to him, and you know, I'll throw a couple punches around him, and he'll throw a couple punches. And it's like, well, fuck, man. If any of those punches were for real and he connected, bro, I'm going to sleep. Oh, fucking night. Yo, speaking of which, did you see the fucking fight on Saturday? Oh, you were working.
Yeah.
Robbie Lawler fucking did it again. God, dude, I'm not the biggest fan of Robbie, because he's the welterweight champion for the UFC. I don't feel like he's the best. Like, he is a wild brawler, man, and he puts on good fights. And the past two fights that he's had they were automatic top 5 fights for me, man. Like the fight that he had with Rory McDonald was unbelievable. Like I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it. But it's like the end of the 4th round in the fight, man. Rory and Lawler, the bell rings to end the round, and both of them are just stood up straight and they're just looking at each other. No one wants to go back to the corner. It's just who's going to back down first. They're both covered in fucking blood. They both, like, fucking Rory almost knocked him out that round, and Rory's nose is fucking shattered. Like, that's what ended the fight. Robbie punched him in his nose was already broken, and he just punched him in the nose again, and he just went down and couldn't get back up, and it was like, fuck. But then last Saturday night, Robbie fought Carlos Condit. And it could go, I don't know how he won the fight. He shouldn't have won the fight. Just maybe I need to rewatch the fight, but just the initial view of it, Carlos Condit landed close to 400 significant strikes on Robbie. Robbie landed 100. So Robbie landed 25% of the shots that Carlos landed on him. And Carlos Condit fucked Robbie up, dude. In the 5th round, Robbie came out to fight. Like, he came out trying to knock Carlos's head off and almost did. But the fight ends, and both the fighters next to each other, they both have their hands up on the cage, and they're just sitting there just trying to catch their breath. They're just both right next to each other with their hands on the cage, just breathing. You know, no one's celebrating. No one's going back to the corner. They're like, fuck this. I can't even walk right now.
That's one thing that I I love about MMA is that, MMA versus any other sport that you can watch on there is that they will go, it's the only sport where you have two guys who go into a ring and their whole point is to knock the fuck out of each other. Like they literally want to knock you out. They want to make you submit. They're going to go in there and they're going to land anything and everything they can to make you knock out or submit. And at the end of it, when the bell rings, they'll get up and hug each other and walk back to their corners.
You're right. And they have to, though, because that's the one thing that keeps it from being barbaric.
Yeah.
It's the sportsmanship.
Yeah.
You go in there, you
train. But you don't see that in the women's side, though. Some of them do.
Some of them,
but
I feel catty, man.
I think you see that more in the men's side. The men's can go in there and do man shit and go in there and beat the fuck out of each other and then give each other a hug and then walk away. But like, you know what? He fought good. He won. Or you know what? He fought good and he was a good opponent and I'd love to fight him again.
I mean, I've seen the women do it. They normally they'll fucking go cry with each other. No, the women do it too, but some of them are catty, and there's like some legit beefs because fucking women are so weird, man. They're so like, I see the animalistic side of men where it's it's the testosterone. You gotta bow up your posture. You're always challenging. No one can, you always want to be that alpha or that fucking, the dominant one. And then with women, it's animalistic and it's in a different sense. It's cat-like, man. It's very cat-like where it's like, it's passive aggressive or it's straight on cunty, man. It's just being a cunt, dude. Like women deal with shit so weird. Like they'd rather treat someone like shit and talk shit about each other than just confronting each other and dealing with it that way, man. Like, I'm a big fan of if you have a problem and the problem becomes a physical problem, once that physical altercation is done, the problem is done also. And I don't think that exists anymore.
No. Do you think that Rousey is telling the truth when she says that if she can't come back and beat home that she's done?
Yeah. She's been talking about that for a while. Like she's been talking about retiring, what she's going to do.
She should have retired before home.
Yeah. Ronda Rousey is fucking rich. She's a movie star now.
She is a movie star. And she's good at it.
She's young. I think she's my age or maybe a year or two older than me, like 27, 28. And, but she's been doing it since, I want to say like 10 or 11. She's been competing in judo. And it's like you're constantly putting your body through stress. You're constantly trying to keep it at this optimal level. Not to mention, you're going in there and you're with another human who's doing the same exact thing, trying to get their body to the best. It's almost a robotic level where it's a fucking machine. You're feeding your body nothing but energy and nutrients. Fuck food. You're feeding your body nothing but energy and nutrients. If it can't provide your body with something, you don't put it inside of you. And then you're exercising. You're just making your body stronger and more equipped to take damage and inflict damage. And you've been doing that for years and years. And it's like, I think she had to have been somewhat relieved when she lost to Holly Holm because the weight of the crown has got to be heavy, man. Everyone wants it, man. When you're at the top, and like, I don't even know what your motivation could be besides I don't want to lose, but that's more of like, I don't really see that as motivation, man. It's what keeps you from losing. Yes. But I don't feel like it's the same motivating factor as I want that belt compared to I don't want to let go of that belt. It's more out of fear almost. And so it's like when you're the challenger, like say you're the number 10 guy, all you think about is that number 1 guy. It's all you think about. Or if you're training for someone, you're thinking about that one person, but in the back of your head, I'm sure you're thinking about getting past that one person and getting your fucking arm raised and that belt going around your fucking waist. And like everyone below you when you're the champ is trying to knock your fucking head off in the craziest fucking way. And there's so much pressure on you. Like look at how the tide has changed from Ronda pre-Holly Holm where everyone loves her. A couple people talk shit, but you accept it. Now, after Holly Holm, Ronda's damn near forgotten, and whenever she's brought up, she's just shit on, dude.
Not by me, man. I'm still a huge Rousey fan,
yeah.
And I think she did a great job. I am a little sad that after the fight, she kind of went. Granted, she got to go to the hospital, but after the hospital,
No one's seen her.
You haven't seen her. She kind of went into hiding, and that I don't think that was really the proper way to handle it. I would think she should have came out and been like, you know what, I fought her. She was a good fight. She whooped my ass, and you know what, I'm going to come back. I'm going to whoop her ass again. You know, and that's I think is what should have happened. But
that's the respectable way. It's understandable what she did because, dude, she was at a height that no one has ever achieved. I mean, you could say Conor McGregor is getting to that level now, but Ronda Rousey's been at that level.
Yeah, but
she fell.
I don't think McGregor is still not as much of a household name as Rousey was. You could ask anybody about Rousey, and they knew who she was.
It's true.
You can't ask anybody about McGregor. You have to be in MMA to understand who McGregor is.
It's true, but that's the next guy, man. He's being platformed. He's on ESPN now. You see him on fucking Fox, like commercials and shit. The last, not the UFC on Saturday, but the fight before that, the Fox fight that they did. 3 fighters called out Conor McGregor after their win. I want Conor McGregor, and you're talking different weight classes, bro. Like Conor's in this middle ground where he might stay at featherweight and he might be going to lightweight. Like he's still got. There's one guy at featherweight he needs to beat before he goes to lightweight, in my opinion, Frankie Edgar. I don't know if he's gonna do it, you know, like, but that's a money making fucking fool, dude. And he's something special, man. Until he loses, and even if he loses gracefully, people will still love him as long as, you know. He can't go down like Anderson Silva. Like he can't be fucking around and get knocked out. Because now look at it. Like I still love Anderson Silva. I still think he is the greatest. But like people look at Anderson Silva now and they're just like, he wasn't shit. And it's like, did you forget the magic?
McGregor's not a humble guy though. McGregor is an animal.
Yeah,
you know,
he's backing it up, dude.
Is he? You think so?
Bro, he talks shit to Jose Aldo for a year and a fucking
Oh yeah, they talked.
half.
Oh, they bickered back and forth, dude.
He was doing disrespectful shit. He went to so in Rio, in Brazil, UFC is the equivalent to football here. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about 80% of the country watching the UFC. Anderson Silva is God there, you know, Jose Aldo is another God. He's another Brazilian. He went to Brazil and during a conference, you know how when they're talking on the mic, the belt sits in front of him. He grabs the belt from Aldo and dances around with it, and then tells him in Portuguese that he's going to kill him. And it's like, what the fuck? Like, It was so disrespectful because Aldo's been the champ for 10 years, man. Aldo hasn't fucking lost in forever. And then what happens? They go in the ring after all this shit talking. Aldo comes out angry and tries to throw a fucking right, and Conor just cracks him with a left. 13 seconds, fastest fucking title fight ever. Cracks him, knocks him out, and Aldo went to fucking sleep. Didn't just go out and come back. He went to fucking sleep, dude. It was. I was pissed off because I waited the whole night to watch the fight, and then that was it. But it was like, holy fuck, man. And I thought Aldo was gonna win. I didn't even I like Conor McGregor. I don't got shit against him. He talks shit. It's funny shit though, but he's legit, man. He proved it to me that he's legit, and he's doing different things for the sport too, man. He's really focusing on movement, and I think he's changing fighters. You see it, man. He's changing the landscape of the UFC. People are starting to talk shit now because they know they're going to get money for it. You hype that fight, you get people to either hate you or love you, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. You just get people involved. They're going to tune in. You're going to get money for it. McGregor's broken record after record for attendance, dude. He just keeps shattering them. And it's because everyone wants to watch this guy fight. Whether or not he wins or lose, there's people on both sides that want to see it. And they're going to tune in to see it. The press conference after he knocked out Aldo, they cleared all the other fighters, and it was just Conor McGregor. It was the weirdest fucking thing in the world. It was like he owned the UFC. I'd never seen anything like it.
Dana White, watch out. So, we went through. We gave you a good breakdown of all the different episodes that we have out right now, and we have some exciting things that I think are coming up that we're gonna some people we're gonna have come on and talk to, and everybody in our little group has things to do. Like Brian is good at doing the off camera producing while we're filming the stuff, and then I like to do the editing after the fact. And Mike, you are the person who brings the people in.
I'm the recruiter.
I don't know how you do it. You get people just to open up and start talking to you in the middle of the hallways, dude. Just all of a sudden, you're like having this in-depth philosophical conversation with them. I'm like, what?
Just gotta be curious, man.
What?
You ask questions.
Who do we have coming on? Who are some people that you have?
Exciting ones. Let's start with, and I need to fucking call and email these guys. Speaking of which, if you happen to listen to this podcast and I haven't contacted you yet, give me a call. But anyways, Mike Porter. Mike Porter is a guy I've been talking to for the past month, maybe longer. He's an former federal agent, and what he's doing is he's working with the Library of Congress on this oral history project for World War II. He goes around and he interviews World War II vets, and there happens to be quite a bit of them in the villages. And he interviews them, and then he records it, and then sends it off to University of Florida. They're the liaison for Library of Congress, and then they're storing these interviews away in the Library of Congress, and you'll be able to access them in the future. And they will be there for as long as Congress is around, right? As long as the Library of Congress is around, which means in 150 years from now, when his great-great-grandson heard that, this dude was, his grandpa was in the fucking war, he can go to the Library of Congress and listen to actual audio from his grandfather explaining who he is and what he did in the war and how it affected him and in life. There is a certain, it's not, and I told Mike that he needed to do a podcast, man, but apparently there's rules to it where there's a set questions that they have to ask, but the questions aren't bad, and they don't mind if you add your own thing in there. I don't think we could do it because we'd have to keep it a little more professional. But you know what? Then again, no, we talked about it. I was talking to Mike, and just so you guys know, this might be some shit that happens in the future. We got to figure out if we're going to do it. We got to figure out if we can do it. But doing some of those interviews on the podcast, we'd have a separate what's the word that I'm looking for, man? A separate branch of podcast. It would still be under our Transient Thoughts name, but it would have a separate name. It would just be like, it would be a standalone series, of 3 or 4 interviews of World War II vets that are around, because there's so many World War II vets out there, and they're dying off like fucking crazy, man. Or
how old are they now? I mean,
you're talking about 80s or 90s, man.
Yeah.
One of the guys, Mike should be bringing. He's gonna reach out to a couple of vets that he's interviewed that are pretty interesting, and they all have super super cool memorabilia from the war and shit that they got off dead soldiers' bodies, or just kind of clearing areas and shit like that. I don't want to give away any of this shit because he might bring it in. But yeah, he's working on he's talking to me about a World War II vet who was actually Jewish and went and liberated some of the concentration camps. He's 93 years old, man. So that's the age range that you're talking about. And these people are dying off, and just look at it like this. How many of them are still able to even coherently speak about their experiences?
Or to have the memory to
dementia and shit, man, is kicking in at this age.
Yeah.
So he's got this long list. He showed me this list of people he's got, and he's just one person. And there's no way that he's going to be able to get to all these people before they die off, or because it's going to take a long time. This guy doesn't do this for his living. This is something that he's passionate about. He does on the side. So I was figuring maybe we can help him out. I think it'd be really cool. The whole idea, the whole reason how I ended up reaching out to him is I went out to is it Dwight Eisenhower, the museum out there across the street from your station?
Yeah, it's the rec center.
Yeah, I went out there and I wanted to interview a vet, and I was given his number, and the number to some other guy. I think his name was something Goldstein, Douglas Gold. He wrote a book about Pearl Harbor. Really knowledgeable guy. I reached out to him. I called him. He never contacted me back. I reached out to Mike, and immediately we hit it off, man. Super cool dude. Kind of looks like Larry David to me. And I was talking to him. Oh, and here's another little thing. I don't want to get you guys too excited, because I'm a little excited about it, and I don't know if
I
I
don't
can pull
know
it
about
off.
it yet.
I think you do, man.
Okay.
He was talking to me about his daughter. So Mike's daughter flies, does like she's not a pilot. She does fly helicopters, but she's not a pilot. She does it for information, for like technology information, or I can't even think of the fucking words, but she flies it and then logs the data, and then they go in there and they plug it in. She works for a company that is affiliated with the U.S. Army. Like, she's actually a citizen in the U.S. Army. It's weird. Her friend is just got accepted as one of the pilots for the Mars mission, one of the astronauts.
What?
So exactly.
Okay.
So I want to see if I can get a hold of her. They don't live in Florida, but we can always Skype them in.
Oh yeah.
But I got super excited when I heard that, and it was right around. I just got done watching The Martian, so I was like fucking super excited, because I've been making fun of those assholes for like years. I'm like, you want to go to Mars? Bitch, you're gonna die. It's a suicide mission. But you know, it'd be super interesting, and I want to talk to her. I'd talk to any astronaut, but she seems super cool.
I think that she might be the only one that we can get a hold of right now.
True, even though we live like a couple hours from Cape Canaveral, assholes.
Well, you know, we and I'm not going to do no name dropping, but we both know someone who works at NASA.
Word. I was going to talk to him, but then I wasn't sure if he would know. Does he work for NASA, or like, I know there's a department over there, like,
But
he's got to know someone. I'm going to talk to him.
Yeah, it's under, I mean, his uniform has a NASA patch on it. Does that count? I mean, like,
Yeah, I'm going to talk to him. He's another cool
Yeah.
dude, man. Fuck, man. He's, from what I hear, he's got a lot of good experience too.
mm-hmm.
Let's see, who else? I am talking to, we got Brian Garrett. He's a dispatcher. I used to work with him. He's also a paramedic. Used to work with him with Marion County, and he works for Sumter County now. Cool dude. I've known him since, another guy I've known since high school. We had like, I went through EMT school when I was in high school, and then some of his friends were in my class, and I think he went through the same program the year before I did. He's a little older than me, but we'll shoot the shit with him, get a little perspective on dispatch life. And
Now, listen, this is not an EMS podcast, but because we both work, actually the three of us who run this show all work in EMS, there's going to be an EMS undertone. We are going to, what's that?
me making noise.
Okay. We sound like a water droplet. I was like, what?
Yeah.
The talents that come out. There's going to be an EMS undertone to a lot of different conversations we end up having. It's just what we can relate it to and how our minds understand things. And we find a lot of this stuff fascinating. And like I said earlier, we're doing this for us pretty much. So we're going to talk to the people that we want. You know, I myself, while I work with dispatch, do not know what it's like to be on the other side of that phone, when it rings and you talk to the person and they're initially calling EMS before anybody ever shows up at the house. So I find that interesting. I'm looking forward to that podcast. I think that's going to be really good.
Bro, there's so many people. I would laugh at so many people. Like, you're calling 911 for what? Bitch, try again. Click.
I think you meant 411.
Yeah.
1-800-CALL-GARY. Don't bother me.
God, dude, the patience it must take. I want to ask him, like, what if they ever decide to implement like a FaceTime in dispatch? Because like, there's no way you could ask me to keep a straight face talking to some of these assholes.
No, not at all. So we have a lot of really good podcasts coming up.
There's someone else.
There's someone else too.
I'm racking my brain right. Oh yeah, fuck, man.
You should
Don't remember
write
his name. I think it's Greg. But, if you're
Maybe
not Greg, I'll be giving you a call later. I don't want to pull out my phone to look up your name, but you sounded really cool when I talked to you. It's actually a guy Brian got us in touch with. Brian's either his dad or his stepdad works, and they do.
We're short.
Yeah, they do processors. They make computer chips, things like that.
Yes.
I was talking to him. Super, super cool dude. Super knowledgeable. I don't know a lot when it comes to hardware or software. I don't know shit, but like it is something that I could talk about and curious about. I'd love to know how shit works. The short conversation we had on the phone, we kind of got into possible future implication or future future technology of maybe kind of putting chips inside humans and shit like that. And he's like, oh yeah, it's coming down the pipe. It already exists, but it's gonna be normalized. Like, so it seems like we might get a little bit. Shit might get a little crazy when I talk to him. Like
that sounds fun to me. Yeah, fuck it.
We might get a little bit of conspiracy theory talk going on. Yeah, but no, I'm not against it though, man. I used to be afraid, and I know a lot of people that fear technological advances because it's just the unknown. It's just, or you think that you're going to be manipulated or taken advantage of. Yes, that's going to happen. For every good thing that's ever created, there's always a way to manipulate it and make it a bad thing or make it useful for doing bad things. Mm-hmm. So any advancement that's made, that's what ends up happening. But there's so much good shit that comes from it that you have to almost look past all that other shit. I'm super open to anything that will kind of make our quality of life better. I'm all about hopefully getting to the point where we can make death an optional thing, at least death from a old age, a wasting away kind of death. It's not going to exist anymore. I'm all about getting to the point where you can be 90 years old and function like you're 30. You have the mindset, you have the physical features, and you can choose when you want to die. As long, I'm sure people will still be able, like, you're not going to be able to shoot yourself in the head and fucking come back to life. No. But I mean, you're not going to have to worry about dying because your kidneys got too old to fucking do their job.
What's that movie with Robin Williams? And he's an android.
Bicentennial Man?
Yes. Where in the end, he's with What's-Her-Face, and they have some kind of weird relationship, and she's ready to die. She wants to die. Yeah. She's been alive forever, and he, as an android, has created all these artificial organs, and she's using these artificial organs to stay alive, and she's like, okay, I'm done. I'm ready to go.
That's the way it should be.
And he's like, okay, and he just like shuts down with her, and they die together.
Yeah, like people freak the fuck out because they're like, oh, population control and blah, 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 this, blah, blah, that. Well, I think if we get to that point where we can make that a possibility where you can be 90 years old and function like you're 30 years old, I want to say that we'll have some of the other issues kind of solved too, as far as like population control or, making enough resources for people. But it's super nice to just be able to pick I don't think people want to live forever. I think people just want to know and have control of their life, where it's like, it's not going to be taken. Like, I can't imagine what it'd be like when it's like you get cancer and you're dying, and then like, you kind of, you're going to go, you have this expiration date and you accept it, and you're in that sweet spot. And then it's like this actually happened to a patient I had up in Jacksonville. So this motherfucker's dying of cancer, and he was okay with it. He's accepting, blah, blah, blah. And then it was right around the Final Four, and he was a big Duke fan. And Duke, or is it Duke? Or he's a Kentucky fan. That's what it was. And he's like, man, I kind of want to make it until Kentucky like makes it to the finals. Like that was the only thing he was staying alive for, was to watch Kentucky play basketball. And I shit you not, as soon as Kentucky lost, he was dead. But it's like, that's cool shit. Like,
but that's what he wanted though. He's happy.
He made it. But what if he were to die before Kentucky?
Oh, that would suck.
And it's like, fuck, man. Or that's a stupid example. All right. How about?
But it's not that. But I mean, you find those things,
little things.
That's what he and himself wanted to live for at that point in time.
Right.
For him, that's what was important. And I don't see nothing wrong with that. I don't think it's crazy.
What TV show would do that to you, where it's like they left you at a cliffhanger and you were gonna die the next day, and you're like, well, fuck, I gotta wait till next week to die.
I'm a huge Big Bang fan.
What?
I'm a huge Big Bang fan.
There's no fucking cliffhangers in Big Bang. Dude.
You know how long I waited for Sheldon and Amy to have sex? Are you kidding me?
Is that the blonde with the big tits?
No, that's Penny. That's Kelly.
She looks like she can suck dick.
Apparently she sucks Leonard Hofstadter's dick in the show. Okay, they're married now, so everybody's married off except for Raj. And I know you have no idea who any of these people are.
I don't know who Raj is.
Raj is the Indian guy. He's the token ethnic guy.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah.
There always has to be one.
Yeah.
There's no black people in Big Bang, is there? You got the Indian.
Yeah, you
can
don't
settle
have
that.
Yeah, exactly. He's kind
Are
of
you
black.
saying there's no smart black people? I think 24 would do it for me. Like 24 is so intense, man. Have you ever watched 24?
I have watched 24, and I had to put it down because I was binge watching it, and I was like, "This is it. I can't do this anymore."
That was
Like,
the original for me, man. That took my binge watching cherry. It fucks my world up, dude. For 2 weeks, I don't think I did anything but watch 24.
I think Netflix has contributed to the downfall of humanity. Like you veg out on whatever food you have in the house, and you just sit there and you watch show after show after show.
I have an announcement, people. I have my own Netflix now. It is official. I am no longer using my ex-girlfriend's Netflix that I might have used for like a year and a half before she figured it out. But she shut me off like last week, and I'm like, that motherfucker. I gotta sign up for Netflix now. God damn it, you're so selfish.
Did she realize that like these
No, she
weird
never
ass
gets
movies
on.
because it recommends what you watch off of. She's
Dude,
like,
that was my Netflix. All the recommendations were for my shit. I was using those recommendations. All the shit was like, would you like to continue watching? Like for the past like 20 movies, it was all my shit. She wasn't getting on there. I'm like, well, I'm gonna keep this shit going.
and
Like,
she's like, I didn't watch National Lampoon.
oh yeah, dude, there's all types of weird shit. Cause I'd get on there and watch weird shit for 5 minutes and then stop. Like,
I can't do that. I am scared shitless to click on anything on Netflix because I don't want it to recommend that stuff from something else. Because I'm like, I really want to see if this 2-star movie is as bad as 2 stars says it is. But at the same time, I'm like, if I click on it, I'm gonna get a bunch of fucking 2 stars that are recommended to me.
sometimes those 2-star movies they're entertaining because they're so shitty. Like
Oh,
the
yeah.
Sharknado
Oh, yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Sharknado, but
I
like,
did watch. Do you like kung fu? Do you like kung fu movies?
in a humorous way. I liked sometimes, man, like I like kung fu to be implemented.
Well, I like. I just watched a movie called Ip Man. IP Man.
Yeah,
That was a kick ass movie.
they're making like an IP Man 5, I think.
Oh my god!
Yeah, but I've seen and I wanted to check it out.
Dude. It has 5 stars and it's well worth it.
Man, have you seen
It's supposed to be based off of the life of Bruce Lee's master.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Shit. Have you seen not Hellboy, man? What's the name of the fucking movie? God, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to give it away to people. It's such a fucked up movie, but it has some kung fu in it. Pretty much this guy gets locked up, like he gets kidnapped and kept in a room for like 30 years, dude. For 30 years in the same room, and fuck, I can't remember the name of it. It was originally a Korean movie, I believe, and then they remade it. I think Spike Lee remade it. Did you see one of the most fucked up movies I've ever seen, dude? When that movie ends, you'll just be like, holy fuck, I've never seen something so fucked up. Just the long game that's being played and the way it ends is just like,
Dude,
fuck.
there's some messed up music. If you, for some reason, I got curious, and it's never good to get curious when you have the internet available to you. I got curious about just some of the worst horror type films, like the most scary or the creepiest type horror
Human
films.
Centipede.
Yeah, well,
fuck
have you ever watched the Centipede, the whole thing? Yeah,
I watched
that was
I
fucked
watched
up.
both of them, dude. The second
I
one
did
is
not
so
wa- no.
gory. It's so
No.
bad.
I watched the first one. That was
The
bad
first
enough.
one was entertaining and horrible.
Oh,
but
my
the
God.
second one was bad.
Have you heard of a movie called Tusk?
Tusk. Oh, my God.
Holy shit!
I never laughed so hard when
But
when
it's
they finally
creepy.
show what he looks like.
Oh.
Bro, I laughed. I couldn't even watch. The movie just kept going. And I laughed for 10 minutes, crying, laughing. It was so funny. It's so goofy looking.
And then there is one movie that I don't even want to say the name of it because it gave me chills. It just creeped me out. We'll talk about it later. But it's this person gets kidnapped and this other person's friend goes looking for that person, and it goes downhill really bad. And like it made me. It was such a wrong, horrible, sick movie. It made me sick.
I think we talked about this, like me and you. Does it end with like
People,
some her friends like rotting and like
yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. Dude, that thing gave me fucking like it made me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Well, that's why I don't watch those fucking serial killer shows anymore. I used to be obsessed with it, and I know people that were obsessed with it, and it's like, why am I obsessed with how to get away with murder or Mind of a Serial Killer? Bro, I was obsessed with what's that?
Criminal
There's
Minds?
a whole channel, dude. There's a whole channel, an investigative channel or something like that, that's dedicated to like fucking getting inside serial killers' heads. Watch a documentary about like all these guys on death row and the relationships that like people get married on death. Like people want pen pals that are on death row, and like they send them shit, and all you got to do is write. Like they'll find some chick who's, I'd assume, desperate and lonely, and they'll get into a relationship. And you know this motherfucker's gonna be killed, and you know he did something fucked up to go get killed in prison. You know, like,
well, I mean, you have commitment issues, but you don't have to worry about it because you're not gonna be around long.
Yeah, it's true. And they go over that, they go over the relationships, and they go over just the stress of and just the mindset of I'm gonna die in 30 days and know it. You know what I mean? And like some people are completely peaceful, and they don't give a fuck. Some people are free, like it's like they're just trying appeal after appeal after appeal, trying not to get killed. I think one dude actually he appealed his case and got off death row a couple of days before he was supposed to be executed.
Holy shit!
Yeah, how you feel about capital punishment, man?
I think we waste time and money storing these fuckers for too long, and that the judge should just have a pistol behind the seat and just pull it out and shoot the fucker right then and there. Or go back to hanging. Screw wasting bullets. Go back to hanging. I believe that we spend way too much money now, I say this.
For humane ways to kill?
For humane ways to and stealing and storing these individuals for so long and on death row. Now, I say this because I think that modern technology has given us the ability to properly prosecute somebody without the mistake of the wrong person. I understand that happens. And
how many people is tolerable? How many innocent people is a tolerable amount to die? As far as like when it comes to, you know,
if we just hung them right there, if they were guilty, we took them out back and we hung them.
Yeah. How many is it? And then like how many times do you think it could happen where it's like a couple of years down the road something comes out and it's like that dude was innocent completely, like there's no way you could ever say he was guilty and he's already dead. But how many times could that happen before it's like, fuck, we gotta change the way we're doing shit? Because I agree with you in a way. Like I think that we should be killing motherfuckers. Like the whole point of jail is to rehabilitate you to get back into the real world. So if you're going to stay in jail for the rest of your life, then you might as well not be in jail, period. Like we might as well kill you. Like you're going to die here. So let's get this over with now. Like we all know it costs money to keep you in jail. Why would we let you stay here for another 30 years when you're going to die here? Like,
but yeah, what's wrong with privatized prisons? Why does the government have to keep paying for it? Why do they have
what's
to
wrong with it is the motivation behind it. If the motivation isn't pure, like, did you hear about that story a couple of years ago with a judge who was sending juveniles to camps because he was getting kickback?
Oh, no.
So he was just sentencing all these kids to juvie, like all of them. He'd just send them away, and he was getting kickback for it. He's in jail now, but it's just keeping things pure, man. The problem with privatized prison is you shouldn't want people to go to jail.
Well, no.
And it shouldn't be financially beneficial. It's weird because we live in a capitalist capitalist country. That's the one thing that shouldn't be profitable because it causes underlying issues where, what are you hearing, an echo or something?
No, never mind. I got distracted.
Yeah. It causes an underlying problem where it's like, now you have lobbyists trying to lobby to keep certain laws the way it should be, or trying to tighten up more laws so you can keep people in longer or get more people in. And it's like, those are the issues I don't even feel like dealing with.
But how about the law? How about we lessen the reasons of which you can go to jail? Like you should be going to jail for life for marijuana possession. Are we really in 2015?
Here, I'm cool with jail. If, like, all right, there shouldn't be any crime that two consenting adults want to have a transaction or they come to an agreement. There's nothing that should be made illegal because of that. And if you do make it illegal, it shouldn't be a threat of actual jail time. It should be more of a fine that you're dealing with.
But even then, though, you have to be careful with that wording because two drug cartel leaders are two considering adults who are buying and selling, hundreds of pounds of whatever drug.
It's a business, but you tax them.
But you're talking about the local drug dealer who has a dime bag.
The local drug dealer won't exist when you got big business.
So then legalize
what if I sold
drugs?
oranges out of my fucking that's what I'm saying. It's not a violent crime, so like you shouldn't. I think people are starting to come around and kind of see like when you look at like Colorado and you look at like, you know, Washington, or how about this? Weed's decriminalized in DC, people. That should open your eyes enough right there. Like, that's a hypocritical thing. But you look at these places and you see that they didn't burn down. Matter of fact, Colorado made so much money they had to give it back. Matter of fact, Colorado's DUI levels went down, their violent crimes went down, and they actually profited more off marijuana than they did out of alcohol in the entire state. That says a fucking lot, dude.
I heard supposed stories. I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard stories that apparently that some of the weed shop owners were being killed because they weren't giving into the extortion of drug cartels, because the drug cartels were losing money because weed was legal there, and they weren't getting the money that they were getting before. So like they were like, "Come on, we're going to come in here and you're going to give us 10% of your profit." And the owners are like, "No, this is my shop. Go fuck off." And then next thing you know, they show up.
It wouldn't surprise me, man, but why do drug cartels exist, bro? It's because it's illegal, and when you make something illegal, you make it profitable, because if there's a demand for that product, it's going to be met. The supply will be met. And now, since there's a demand and it's illegal, you can jack up the prices on shit because you're taking the risk to bring that supply to the people.
But don't you think that if you make one thing legal that was once illegal,
all of it should be?
No, then the next thing is down the list. Like, okay, well, scratch marijuana, it's legal now everywhere. Everybody can get that wherever they want. It's grown by the government or whatever. So what's next?
Psychedelics?
Heroin,
Heroin, yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, now heroin's still illegal, so now they're going to just start dealing heroin like crazy.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, man. If you want to do heroin, fuck, dude, do heroin. Why should you be locked up in jail because you wanted to get fucked up? Now, I've never done heroin, nor will I ever do heroin.
No.
I don't want to fuck with heroin. I'm not even curious about heroin. So its legal status doesn't affect me at all. Now, if you say heroin was your drug of choice and that's what you want to do with your life, and you're a fucking adult and you make adult decisions, why can't you go do heroin with the threat of, because you wanted to get fucked up, and all you did was get fucked up and sleep on your couch. That's all you did, right? You got fucked up, you slept on your couch, and you woke up and you puked. That's all you did. And all of a sudden now you're looking at going to jail for blah, blah, blah. Or you're dealing with that stupid shit. Like it's a consent. Like if you want to get fucked up, man, there's no difference between heroin and alcohol, bro. If you want to get fucked up, you can push yourself to that limit, bro. I've been fucked up on alcohol to the point where I thought I was going to die, dude. I wanted to die. So just get this shit over with, man. This is horrible. But like shit like that shouldn't, when you make something like that illegal that a consenting adult can't do, you're pretty much playing parent to me. You're saying, "No, Timmy, don't do that." You know, you're being my mom and dad, and I don't need that from the government. What I need for you is keep me safe. And I don't think that drugs being illegal is making things safer. I think it actually makes things more dangerous.
Did you hear about the
same with prostitution, by the way?
You think prostitution should be legal?
Bro, you think about how weird it is to say that, like, you could be, first off, if I was a chick, I'd be a stripper or a fucking prostitute. Oh, heartbeat them. They clean up so much money. But anyways.
Yeah, but then you had to clean up after that.
But bro, like prostitutes, they are some of the cleanest people on earth because they're getting tested every 3 days. When was the last time you got a fucking STD test? Yeah. Dude, it's been months for me, man. And it's
also
like,
married and with the same woman for 5 years, 6 years.
That doesn't mean in some freak accident that you can't come down with something. You get exposed to something. You know, you can easily get exposed to HIV or Hep C with what you do, and you know what I mean. And it's like these girls are getting tested. Girls and guys, I should say, are getting tested. Multiple times a week. They have a certificate that says that they're healthy, hanging in the background. How about you make it a
what kind of prostitution house are you going to?
I'm talking about like where it's legal.
Okay.
I've never actually been to like a brothel. Like I've only talked to people that have gone to like Amsterdam, or they've gone to different European countries. And
we don't have to. There's that place in Vegas.
Yeah, but it's not in Vegas. It's outside of Vegas.
Outside of Vegas,
dude. Because it's not legal and that's the only place you can go, they hike the price.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Bro, for you to say that you can't, like, what if shit was going bad in your life, dude? And you got infection and fucking forever, and all you want is a blowjob, and you got tons of money, and you just want to waste some of your money on a blowjob or a hand job, because it's really a waste of money to buy a hand job. Because I don't know about you, but no one can give me a hand job better than I can give me a hand job. And I got fucking at least a decade of experience, more than a decade experience. But anyways, yeah, you can't sell yourself, but you can go do porn and get paid to have sex. And then what do? Like, you might not be able to go out there and go buy sex. So what do? You go on your computer and you go look at people having sex and you just fucking jerk your dick in the dust, dude. Like, that's weird to me, man. It's weird that that's acceptable. It's weird that it's acceptable for us to, like perverts, watch other people having sex and then jerk ourselves off to it or masturbate to it, compared to actually having sex with another person. And just because there was money involved, it's illegal. Like, that shit makes no sense to me at all. Yeah, I feel like it's going back to being babied, man. Like, I don't think that there's going to be 12-year-old girls who look up to prostitutes and that's what they want to do when they grow older.
But speaking of being,
but there's always going to be. I was going to say there's always going to be sluts, but I don't want to. I'm trying not to fucking slut shame, man. I'm trying not to. It makes sluts sound bad. Sluts are good, and I feel like women get a bad rap. Like, they should be able to do whatever the fuck they want with their bodies, and people shouldn't judge them the way they get judged. And
have you heard about the story right now that I have pulled up on the TV? This armed, or this small group, they're calling themselves a militia. I don't know. Last I heard, they were calling themselves a militia. They have occupied this government building on a refugee, a wildlife refugee in Oregon.
And what are they occupying for?
They and I might get this story wrong, but from what I can remember, apparently there were 2 ranchers that were arrested and served some time in jail, got released, but now have to report back to jail because the judge said that what they did required more jail time. And I guess they had set fires. They said on their own land. The government said they set them on government land. Gotcha. And they say it was to protect themselves from wildfires and to clear out underbrush and such.
Yeah, backburn.
Yeah, but the government said that they were hiding the fact that they were hunting deer on government land.
So you're going to send them to jail?
Apparently, they require like 5 years in jail, and the judge says, "Well, you need to go back." So now this group of armed men have taken over this building in Oregon that is a it's a building in the middle of a wildlife refugee, and I don't know how many of them there are, but they're all out there. They're armed. They've been there for a couple of days, and they've blocked it off from not letting any government agencies back there or anything like that.
So are they occupying it to make it like to get?
They said they're going to be there for years, is what they said. They said
they're just kind of setting up like a camp there. They're doing it so they don't have to go back to jail, or they're doing it to make awareness of what's going on. This is in stance
of the 2 gentlemen that are supposed to be going to jail. This right here is the people that are involved are not the ones that are going to jail. They're doing this in response to those 2 people being sent to jail, supposedly.
I think they're doing it because they wanted to, and they can use this.
Exactly. The gentleman that's is in charge of it, they call him the Bundy brothers.
Amon Bundy.
Yeah, and I guess that you remember the thing. I think it was Kansas, 2014. There was a big standoff between some ranchers and the U.S. government.
Is that where they shot the kid?
Yeah,
bro. That's a fucked up story, man. It's so fucked up.
Their dad or someone from their family was involved in that, and so now these 2 or 3 brothers came to Oregon, and they're used these 2 ranchers going to jail as a reason to come in, set up shop in this wildlife refugee building, and have called other people, other patriots, to come and join them. And so they said that they're not looking for any violence. They're not going to cause any violence, but they're going to take over a government building.
Yeah, bro.
They're looking to start something. And I feel like these guys right here, they're like the white Al Sharpton. Okay. That's what they are. They're like, look, a situation we can go and fuck with.
Yeah.
You know? So then they go in, they're stirring the pot and everything else, and they're hoping for a reaction.
You know how they had the drug war? The drug war is still going, but it was real big, like back in like the late 80s, early 90s and shit when crack came around. I feel like there's a gun control war going on too right now, and I don't know how long it's been a big issue for, because it feels like it's only been within the past 5 years. Like, I've always heard people talk about gun control issues, but like within the past 5 or 6 years or so, it seems like it's really been brought to the table, like where everyone, like, they can't, everything that happens always comes down to gun control. Or like the president, man, he did some fucking speech around like I think it was Christmas Day or around holidays, and he was just kind of, it was pretty much an update of what's going on in the world, but he kind of took shots at people. And one of the, like, he took shots at Congress, and he kind of took shots at like gun control. He's always taking shots at gun control. Bro, I don't even know why it's a debate. I don't even know why it's an issue.
I think an armed society
there is no
is a
valid
society.
Has anyone ever presented you a valid debate on why there should be less guns? And I'm not even a gun owner, and I just listen to people, and it's like, oh, well, it's going to decrease the levels of violence, blah, 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 this, blah, blah. Guns aren't a fucking problem.
Do you see what happened in Paris? And when you have a population that is not armed, there was no way to defend themselves.
That's the other argument. I was talking to someone the other day about that. They're like, yeah, look what happened in Paris. If people would have, you think if they had a concealed carry, if that was a concealed carry state, that would have happened?
Yes, concealed carry, open carry.
Oh, even open
you know
carry.
What? If
that it would have still went down.
If you walk into a room with 20 other people and if 15 of them are carrying on their hip and you can see it, guess what? I think you're going to think twice before you pull that trigger.
No. If you walked into a room to kill everyone and 15 people have guns, you already walked into that fucking room. You're already in that mindset. You want to kill those people. You're going to do it anyways. You already knew you were going to die. Now, those 15 people are carrying those guns. Let's just say you were one of those 15 people. It's open carry. You're there with your wife. She's hiding behind you. Are you going to pull your gun? And you're going to shoot at that guy, knowing that if you got one shot before you got that motherfucker's attention, and if you don't kill him, he's going to open fire on you. Compared to he's spraying the other people over there, and you have a chance to run now. What are you going to do? You gonna shoot at him?
I feel like I
the movies, man.
I know, I understand. I know it's not the movies, but I'm with. There have been several sheriffs in the state of Florida who have called on citizens to carry.
Yeah, it's a good idea. Yes,
but I mean, in for the protection of your brother and sisters of your community.
But they're not heroes, man.
No. I'm not saying be heroes. I'm saying
and
that
it's dangerous. You're still firing a gun in a crowd.
You are,
yeah.
But I think that I think that far. I feel like if you're able to help take down an armed gunman who has the potential and the armament and all the weapons to kill a mass of people, if you can kill him or get him, or if you can kill him or be a distraction for somebody else to be able to kill him, anything, and to stop him from killing that many more people, I'm down.
Yeah, I just don't think many people like that exist, and I really don't think many people like that exist in the moment. Like when it comes down to being a martyr, because that's what it is, man. You're putting your life on the line. Like I said, so if you take that shot, man, like you just drew attention to yourself and whoever's around you. So if your family's around you, bro, what if you took that shot and you miss? That dude turns and fucking opens up, hits you in the shoulder. One of them goes through, and say you have a son or something.
But let's
one to the head.
Let's be honest though. If you're going to be open carrying in the first place, and you're out some with your family understands the consequences and the responsibility that comes with owning a gun in the house at all, much less having it open carried or even concealed carry out in public.
Maybe your wife does, but your kids don't fucking know shit.
Depends on how old they are and how you raised them.
It's true, man, but still, there's things that kids can't grasp, dude. Like, I don't know. I feel like that it would be great, but
don't you think it's hard for kids to grasp the idea of when their mom or daddy who's in the fire or police or EMS service goes off to work, that there's a chance that they might not come home? And now granted they didn't go to work. They're going to work to do a job versus you're just out and about with your family, but they need to understand that there's always a chance that mom or daddy may not come home.
Right. And I don't want you to think that I don't agree with you, man. I think here's the benefit of an open carry. That same scenario where the guy's shooting up the place and you're with your family, they're behind you, you got your gun. Now, you're in a corner, there's no exit, and eventually he's going to kill you. That's when it's like, all right, this is life or death. But it's like if you're in some open stadium and someone starts firing off in that corner, I'm not fucking pulling off my gun and going Rambo and running up to that motherfucker and finding.
You think you should carry, but only use as a last ditch effort?
Yeah, you're not a professional, dude. You're not a professional, and you could easily go to shoot that guy and miss and go kill someone else.
I'm not a great shot, but there are some people out there, civilians, your everyday Joe Schmo who lives next door to you.
They're great shots.
That are scary shots.
But they're rare, and even the greatest shot is going to miss, and you can't even take into account the bullet going through. So it's like you can fuck up and kill someone. You can fuck up and kill a few people, dude. Like, I have a horrible shot. So if I'm trying to shoot you and kill you, I'm killing other people because I'm missing. You know, like I'm gonna.
They call me Stormtrooper.
But is that shit acceptable? Can I shoot someone in the shoulder? Well, not even kill him. Can I shoot a couple people in the legs and in the shoulder trying to kill this dude? And you know what I mean? Like,
so what's an acceptable casualty rate?
What's an acceptable casualty rate? I feel like because I agree with you. Like my whole point on the gun issue is that there's no debate for like whether or not we need to limit guns. Or even open carry versus fucking concealed carry. There is no debate about that shit. It goes back to you trying to play parent as the government. Here's my thing. There's an underlying problem to all this shit. It's not, the guns aren't the problem. People say this shit all the time, and I don't think anyone really listens, man. The guns aren't the problem. No. It's the people, man. It's the fact as a society, we can't function in peace, bro. So I say they just let guns go fucking crazy and let everyone own whatever gun they want. If you want a rocket launcher, you own that rocket launcher. And let's just deal with the consequences. Because once the consequences are dealt with, and once we start treating that underlying problem of, oh shit, people are fucking crazy, maybe we can get some fucking progress. Because right now it's just, we're playing a little game. We're playing the parents telling you to do something, and we're playing the fucking rebellious teenager. That's all we're doing right now.
So you have these guys in Oregon, though, okay? Now, they are armed. They're in a remote location. They are blockading themselves from the outside, and they are calling for other patriots to join their militia. Now they're saying that they don't want any beef, and they don't want any violence. But do you think coming off of this year's an election year, so coming off of the Obama administration, coming on to the very tension-filled election. Coming off of the Paris attacks and the Islam scare, and there's and all the others. Obama has had just an insane amount of shootings in during his presidency that he's had to deal with. So all these things are on people's minds. Do you think they're going to have people show up and join them?
Yeah, man, but there's dumb people out there, bro. There's so many fucking dumb.
So then, how far does the government let this grow?
You don't like. You let it grow as big as it's gonna get, man. Until they fucking pull the trigger and make a move, then you fucking crush it, man. But it's like, first off, we shouldn't be talking about this because this shouldn't even gotten attention of ABC News. Why is this on ABC News? Like me and you want to go fucking occupy a building with some guns, and we want more people to come. Like, fuck, dude, we should do a podcast and say that's what we're gonna do, and see if we make it on fucking ABC News. We don't need to talk about this.
I don't know if we need the views that bad.
This is the underlying problem. This is the underlying problem right here, that we're even discussing this shit, and that just because you can go and occupy a building with some guns doesn't mean that it's important. Anyone could do that.
Okay,
they're trying to send a message to everyone.
They are.
If you don't give a fuck about the message, then their actions are pointless. You shouldn't
say in the hypothetical world somehow, because we all know that the government could simply fly a very high altitude drone over this location, drop a bomb, and then some government story would come out where they were building something and it exploded, and now we have these X amount of people that have died. Oh well, and people are going to be like, well, those dumbass rednecks shouldn't have been doing that shit. Then what should they?
Right.
And that's what they would think. But say for some reason the government let it go on, people joined, and all of a sudden they start causing a ruckus, and next thing you know, Oregon is
a civil war type.
Yeah, there's a civil war type thing. And then we think back to us talking about this podcast.
And we should have stopped it. We should have nipped it in the bud before it got big.
Do you think so? Do you think the government should just roll up in there, tanks and all, and blast them?
It's dangerous ground when you're talking about being proactive, because you can always get more proactive to the point where it's unnecessary and it's kind of intruding. You know, these guys have the right to do that. If enough people feel like the message that they're trying to make is a good message and they want to support it, well, then there was a true problem. You know, they're trying to make a problem right now. They feel like there's an issue, and they're trying to they're trying to portray their side of the issue, and they're trying to get supporters for their side of the issue. If they get enough supporters and it does become a major issue, then that means that we're starting to work on the underlying problem. All right, we're starting to work on this issue. Fuck, dude, I have an issue with so much shit, man, but I don't fucking. It doesn't matter enough for me to fucking make a major statement like what these guys are doing. To them, this is a 100%. This is what they want to do. This is what they're passionate about. This is what has been killing them. I'm sure they thought about this for a while. And I don't even really know much about the story, but they're trying to bring it to the public. They're trying to get attention to this issue. If you get enough attention, then that means that issue needed to be looked at in the first place. You know, if it comes down to a civil war type, man, I feel like
let's be honest, I couldn't see that happening.
No,
now.
but it's a natural progression to things. Like when a country doesn't, when the country is split and you have sides and you're kind of having to pick that side, man, you go at each other. That I feel like that's a natural thing if the issue warrants it. Like if the issue is that big, like you know, like our Civil War, I hear mixed thing. I mean, I was taught in school is over slavery, and like you know, the underlying thing with slavery, a lot of it had to do with production and, of course, a financial thing. It's the whole reason all wars are for. It was a financial thing. But the underlying thing was, you know, slavery and production. The South was big on, like, actual production of these of crops and whatnot, like, you know, cotton. And then the North was big on actually making shit out of that product. You know what I mean? As far as making clothes and whatnot. And I know slavery was a big issue in there, but two sides of the country had a big enough issue that they drew a line in the sand, people picked sides, and then they killed over it. Like that's, and look at how big that issue, or look at that issue and look at how, I don't even really know if the Civil War is justifiable, man. Like it's hard for me to justify ending life, dude. Like I guess it feels like if it escalated to that point, it's justifiable, but I feel like it should have been solved in a lot simpler and more humane way. You know what I mean? Any issue should be solved that way. Now, I feel like we kind of have something bubbling right now, and I'm kind of new to the political world because, you know, I'm only 26, so I've only really been around. Like I've only been able to vote for one president, Obama. Yeah. You know, and I didn't, but I mean, I don't plan on participating in it, but like there's a war between Democrats and Republicans, and it's like the right and the left, and people are just standing on that side, and I don't even understand it, man. I don't understand how you could say you're completely on the right and not have any opinions on the other side and what they have to say.
I agree. I agree 100%. Like you, I have.
Do you vote at all?
No, I've had the opportunity to, but I have not, because I personally don't feel like my vote is going to matter. I feel like there is the
way the system's set up,
the way the system's set up, and the way that things are done. That my vote doesn't matter.
There is over by 41 out there. There's a congressman's office. I don't think he's actually is president in the office. I'm assuming he's somewhere in Washington. But I'm going to walk in there and see if I can reach out to him and we could talk. And I don't even know if he's Republican or Democrat. I just want to talk to a politician and someone explain to me this shit and how it works. The whole electoral college seemed like bullshit to me. Like I don't even understand how that works. And then, like I was saying, there's this. It's me, man. I just got a text message. Like I was saying, what was I saying? Yeah, how can you be on one side? How can you be on one side like the right or the left and not on every issue you have to stay to that one side? Is that how it works? Because once you go Republican, when you go to vote, isn't your ballot you're just voting for your Republican?
Oh yeah, I think
you don't get to vote
I never
Republican
voted,
one year and then vote Democrat. Like
no, I think you can change.
Wins, right?
You can change as often as you want. You can change, you know, while you're standing there in the booth, from my understanding. And even though you register as a Republican or as a Democrat, that number doesn't mean anything, because when you go in the booth and you vote, it's all blind anyways. So you can vote for whoever the hell you want. They don't. Nobody in the world knows who you voted for unless you come out and you blabbed and say I voted for so and so.
Right.
So I don't know. It's all bullshit.
You think online voting would be something that we could possibly do in the future?
Wouldn't it make it easier? Why don't we have apps yet? Why don't I have an app on my phone and I can scroll down and I can click and say, okay, done. And it somehow registers my name, or it registers the cell phone signal. It registers something to have an identifiable marker next to it so that I can't go in and do it over and over and over again. And I understand hacking. I understand that. And you could, well, this could be hacked. Anything can be hacked. Do you think those booths which are electric are 100%, hack free? No, not
a way to do it where we can prove we can prove that it's actually you voting compared to I didn't grab your cell phone and vote.
What if you do what if they make it
facial recognition?
Yeah, facial recognition.
There's a lot of people that don't want their face in a database.
Then maybe you shouldn't be voting.
It's true. It's true.
Then maybe you shouldn't be voting. Not that I think it matters anyways.
I just don't care, man, because whoever's president and whatever laws they make, bro, like, I just do what the fuck I want always. Like, I've always done whatever the fuck I felt like doing with the mindset of being open-minded and being careful not to harm or disrespect other people. So I've always kind of kept myself in that space where I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want. I'm not going to do harm to people if it's harmful to people. I'm going to be extremely considerate of other people, their opinions, their feelings, but I'm also going to do what I want to, because I don't understand the whole fact of limiting yourself during life. Like life is like you get a repeat or a retry. Like, why should there be any limits placed on life? You know, as long as you're not hurting other people, or you're not hurting, as long as you're not causing harm to other people or things that other people care about. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lot of space within your own life where the government kind of intrudes, where you should be able to do your own thing as long as you're doing it safely.
I agree 100%.
Yeah.
So
what up?
It's getting a little deep. How was your Christmas?
I worked, dude. It was good though. I worked. We had so much food, man.
Did you work New Year's Eve?
No. Yes, I did.
You did work New Year's Eve?
I worked from 6 to 6, and then took off to St. Pete.
I guess there was some kind of bad call across the tracks. Some kind of shooting.
Was that New Year's? Yeah, that was. Yeah, I guess 2 kids.
I just heard about this.
Kids. I think they were like 17 or 18. They were shooting at each other. I think one of them got shot like 6 times.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
it was pretty bad. Up. Yeah. But anyways, for Christmas, get anything good for Christmas?
Houston, Texas. What the fuck do I know in Houston? Christmas? No. Fuck, dude. I hate holidays, man. I don't hate them. I just don't care about them. It's just it's a regular day. What did I get? I got a record player. I needed one of those because my old roommate stole my fucking record player. I got a Best Buy gift card, which I will be using to invest in Transient Thought podcast equipment. I don't think I got anything else, man. Dinners and shit like that. I don't do shit. Bro, Christmas is so weird in my house, man, because it's like there's no magic to it. There's no gift giving. A month before, we all agree to what we want, and then, you know, that day you get what you wanted a month ago. And it's like, I never know what I want. So it's just like, give me a Best Buy gift card and I'll make use of it somehow. You know, I feel like I spend a majority of my money in not necessarily Best Buy, but on electronic equipment. You know what I mean?
Listen, you need to get away from Best Buy and just go to Amazon.
Bro, Amazon's doing, they're promising 1-hour deliveries now.
Yeah, if you live within X miles of the warehouse.
Ridiculous, bro. And they're doing this shit now where, like, they'll put buttons on shit that you buy from Amazon.
Oh, you haven't seen those yet? I love those buttons, dude.
And if it breaks, you just hit the button and they send you a new one?
You know, not just that, if you can set it up to where, like, if I only drink Dasani water and I want packs of water in my house at all times, and that's all I drink, I buy the little button, and when I walk into my pantry and I say, oh shit, I only have 4 bottles of water left, I walk over to my wall of buttons that I have, and I push the button, and it sends the Wi-Fi signal to my to my Amazon account and automatically orders it for me. One, it's lazy as fuck because you can just open your phone up and just say, "Oh, buy." But two, I understand it's convenient, and I get that. And they have it for a million products. You can do it for your laundry detergent or a million different types of groceries or toilet paper, paper towels, stuff like that.
Convenient, man.
It is really convenient.
Next level shit.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the guys who work there though, man, because they got to be under some stress. Our deliveries, bro, they got to be. That's some slave shit. There's got to be some dude in there with whips, and he just whip. Speed the fuck up, motherfucker! Yeah, they're just singing Negro hymns or tunes or whatever. Swing, oh god. Oh, no, I do need to invest in Amazon, man.
You don't have Prime yet?
I've never fucked with Amazon, dude. I've always got my shit from eBay, man. I never fucked
eBay.
With,
eBay is such a scam, dude. eBay is such a scam. I hate eBay.
Yeah. Dude, I hated eBay too. I only go on eBay, I don't know, when I can't.
I got hacked once on eBay. My account got hacked, and somebody ordered an iPod and had it sent to the fucking Philippines.
What?
Yes. I was so pissed.
Did you get your money back?
Fuck no.
Oh, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
I couldn't prove it. I'm like, motherfucker, I don't even live in the Philippines. Are you serious right now? No, I didn't get my money back. That's why I stopped using eBay.
Bro, alright, so I'm pretty sure I got my shit stolen a few years ago in Daytona. I was in Daytona for Fire East. It's they do a convention over there every year. All the firefighters go down there, have all the new equipment, and they do seminars and shit. Well, I was fucked up. It was like 2 a.m. I'm like walking back to our hotel, stumbling back to our hotel. It was just me. I always manage to get separated from everyone that I'm with when I get drunk. Dude. I just go on my own adventure. I'm leaving this club, and I'm walking, and this sexy ass chick pulls up, and this brand new fucking Charger, all decked out, leather interior, all the fucking gadgets, and she wants to give me a ride. I'm like, what? So I hop in the car. I'm thinking it's my fucking lucky day. We get halfway down there. She's like, showing me her panties and shit like that. She says she's a stripper, and I don't got nothing against strippers, man. I'm all about equal opportunity. so yeah. Man, she said some shit. So she pretty much kind of like teased me, and then said some shit like, well, I can't do this for free. I gotta get like $50. And at that point, I think I had enough blood in my dick where I was like, yeah, let's do it. So so we go to the bank, and she's driving, right? So we pull into the drive-thru. She knew, like, I was like, listen, I go to Wells Fargo. She's like, no, there's this bank right here. So she takes me to this bank that has the drive-thru ATM. So I give her my card, and dude, I'm such an idiot, man.
You are. Her a card. I see where this is going.
She runs my card, and then she's like, what's your PIN number? And I hesitated for a second, and then I told her, and I'm a trusting person, and she types in my PIN, and she's like, she gets all mad at me. I'm like, what the fuck? And she's like, there's nothing in here. I'm like, what do you mean? I was like, no, I know for sure I got like $800 in my account. Like, listen, bitch, I got paid last week. I know I got money. Don't tell me that shit. And so she gives me back my card. Fuck, I got some kind of hair in my eye. She gives me back my card, and I try it, and it won't work. And I'm like, what the fuck? And she gets all mad, dude. And she just like kicks me out of the car, and she's like, she's talking shit. And by the time I'm like, fuck you, bitch, I'm going home. And I get back, and I just fucking, I get in the room, I just pass the fuck out. And I wake up the next morning, and I finally put it together. I had the money in my account. She withdrew it right there in front of me. I just didn't see it. And she hid it. All the money, bro. All of the fucking money out of my account was just gone. I was like, this little dirty bitch.
Just got took for $800.
$800, dude.
She didn't even give you a hand job or nothing.
Nothing. I saw a little bit of pussy and some titties. I might have sucked on some titties. But it ain't $800 worth of titties. But bro, I've done dumb shit before, man. Like I don't even go to strip clubs anymore because I used to.
I've never been to a strip club.
Never been to a strip club?
Never had any desire to, dude.
It's a good time with the right people.
Well,
like, especially if you bring chicks to the strip club, it's always fun, man.
Here's my thought process on it, and it may sound weird, but I don't want to be in a room with 50 other guys who all have hard-ons, who are staring at the same chick on stage, thinking about her giving them head or something like that. It just, to me, that gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Yeah. I don't really get, it's weird, man. I mean, I guess you kind of get a boner when you get a lap dance, but it's like if you're just, and first off, I'm not the one who just throws money. Like strippers are so good at working your ass. They'll come and dance right in front of you until you give them some money, and then they'll get the fuck away from you. Or they'll come and they'll flirt with you, knowing that they're gonna get some money out of it.
See, I get kicked out. I ain't giving nobody nothing.
Dude, I had a wicked night at Mons Venus. Mons Venus is like one of the top 10 strip clubs in our country, and it happens to be located in Tampa. I don't know why it gets all the hype it does. It's this fucking club covered in mirrors. All the walls are mirrors. They have super hot chicks there, but I mean, it's nothing special. It's really small. There's no private room. So when you get a lap dance, you're getting a lap dance on like a bench, like on the side of the fucking place. It's weird. Anyways, it's a full nude and you can't drink there, but you can get fucked up outside. Like the guy said, hey, you can sit on that bench right there and you can drink as much as you want and I can't stop you. So that's exactly what I did. We went down there for the Gasparilla Parade with a bunch of my friends, and then we actually got dropped off at the strip club because one of my friends had some chick he met at the parade that he was going to go meet up with. We're like, yeah, sure. He's going to come back and get us. Bitch never came back. Never came back. Left us at the strip club. Dude, we were there for shift change. We were there for at least 6 hours in the strip club, dude. Fucked up. I ran out of money, man. I ran out of money. And like at one point in time, I was so drunk, and I was like going to the ATM machine to get more money. And there was this dude in front of me, and he wouldn't get out the way. And I'm like doing the whole dance where it's like, hey, which way are you going? Which way are you going? And then finally it got to the point where I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of my way. And as I said those words, I was like looking, and the dude's mouth started moving. And then I realized he was wearing the same clothes as me. And then I realized I was looking at myself in the mirror. I immediately look around. I'm like, oh my God, I hope no one saw it because they're going to kick me out of here. I grab my money, and then my friend goes up there, and so we're
Oh my God.
I got to the point where I had $1 left, and I was just throwing the dollar and then grabbing it and kept throwing it. That was all I was doing. My buddy went to go get money for a cab so we could get home, and he goes up to the ATM machine. The ATM machine had an option where you could get your cash like a regular ATM machine, or you could do something called Make It Rain. He accidentally hits Make It Rain, and he shoots his last $50 and ones onto the stage. It has like a thing, it shoots it and it makes it rain on the stage. So whoever's dancing gets the money. That was our cab money. So he goes up there. We ended up getting kicked out because he starts trying to grab the money off the stage. He got enough for us to get home. He got enough for us to get home before we got kicked out. And we didn't the dude who dropped us off, we were crashing at his parents' house because his parents are like millionaires. We're in some mansion. It's like 5 a.m. now, and we're just driving in and out of subdivisions because we have no clue where his house is. I just know that if I see his house, my Jeep will be in the driveway, and we'll be able to get home and finally find it. My keys are inside, so I have to wake his parents up at 5 a.m, drunk as fuck, to go get my keys because he's not even home. He's at this chick's house. Yeah, dude, he's an asshole. And we finally get home, and I somehow managed to drive home. Not the most sober. That was a bad experience. Long drive.
My God. That's
strip clubs are bad though, man. I've dropped like $400 in a strip. What? Exactly. What?
What? How?
Exactly.
What?
You get conned in like fucking lap dances, and it's like, bro, once you got a fucking hard dick, man, nothing makes sense anymore, dude. Everything is justified. Like, you could justify just wasting your money. I remember the next day I would just think about the shit I could have done with the money I spent. Like, I could have took a plane to another country. I could have went on like a road trip. I could have bought like some really nice shit. Like, so much shit I wasted my money. I don't even go to strip clubs anymore. It's not fun. It's a waste of money now. Now I understand. It's just a waste of money. You leave with blue balls.
Yeah.
Or you get lucky. Like I had a buddy who, there's a little spaceship for this place, Odyssey, I think it's called. It's in Tampa, across the street from Mons Venus, and there's a spaceship there. And my buddy got a little lucky in that spaceship for his birthday. But that right there costs a lot of fucking money that I'm not willing to pay. I'd rather waste my $400 very slowly over a night on dumb bitches that I want to leave me alone. Dude, my buddy, I don't want to say his name because he listens. one of my friends, speaking of which, who we might get on the podcast here in the future, he was so drunk, man. He was just, they were taking turns, and he would just be sitting there, and they would just walk up to it, and they would grab his hand and walk him back and just do lap dances. And they walk him back, he'd sit down, another girl would come around and grab his hand and walk. He didn't even get a chance to say no. And every time you walk back to that room, you're talking $30 for a dance.
Oh my God.
They just ran him dry. We both spent like $400 that night.
Nah.
No, man, you get drunk, man, you make stupid decisions.
I've never been to a strip club. I'm not a big gambler, and
Bro, that's another story. I lost $4,000 in an hour.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus, son.
Watching the Howard Stern show, they had some guy on, he was a professional gambler, and he told me, he was talking about his secret and how he gambles, and this is what he does for a living. And it made so much sense to me. I'm like, there's no way, I've just found the secret. Like, there's no way I could lose my money. What you do is you find a game that has a high amount of odds for you to win, and you bet the minimum. And if you lose, you double that bet. And if you lose again, you double that bet. So when you finally win, you get all your money back plus a little bit. So I went to the Hard Rock after I got my tax return, the one in Tampa, and I was playing War. Like, you know, you flip one card, I flip one card, highest card takes it. There's no better fucking probability in my head that I'm not a mathematician at all, but it seems like a 50-50 fucking chance that I'm going to walk away with the money. There's factors, there was different variables I didn't take into consideration.
Like the fact that it's probably fixed?
No, it's not fixed. No, it's definitely not fixed, but they know what the fuck they're doing. There's a cap on, like, there's a max amount of betting. I think the minimum is 5 and the cap was something like 100 and something. And I hit the cap. And once you hit the cap, you're fucked because you can't double your money, which means you just lost all that shit. And for me to hit the cap, I even did the math in my head. I would have had to have lost 8 times in a row for me to hit the cap and not get my money back. And I'm like, in a game where it's a 50% chance of winning, there's no way in hell that you can lose 8 times in a row. That's like flipping a quarter and you have heads and it lands on tails 8 times in a row. What are the chances? Fucking shit happens to and
8 times.
I lost 8 times in a row and I lost all that money. And then I started doing it again and I got up to the cap, and then something that I did not take into consideration, I didn't even know how to do the math or probability in my head, but when you actually have to go to war, so me and you turn over the same card, then it's a double or nothing right there. So I had to double my money right there just to do the I declare war, and then you flip over. I doubled it up there, and I fucking lost all of my money. That was it.
Oh,
dude.
my God.
I remember, this is what I remember from that experience. I was so happy walking in, and there was some kind of show going on. There was these people in the line. Me leaving, I lost my money $4,000 so quick that when I was leaving, those people are still in line, bro. I was so upset. I was so depressed. I'm like, I can't believe that just happened. Like, I could have done, once again, I'm thinking about all this shit.
Oh my God.
I thought I was going to be rich, bro.
I don't do strip clubs. I don't do gambling. I don't do, you know, Kate and I were talking about, like, let's go on a cruise. And, you know, she doesn't drink. I'm like, well, I don't want to drink by myself. That's boring.
Right.
She's like, well, they have a casino. I was like, I don't gamble. Like, right. I was like, there's just, what am I going to do? Go see show after show after show? I'm like, you go on a cruise ship to get drunk and probably gamble a little bit. Like, but I don't know. Ate my cup of tea.
Yeah. I gamble all the time. I love sports betting. I do the DraftKings is amazing.
I've seen a lot of advertisement for that.
Bro, Andre almost won $60,000.
What?
Yeah, man. I think he ended up walking away with like $6,000 or something like that. Bro, he texted me one day and he's like, listen, the way DraftKings works is like you put in some money into, like, I put $25 in the beginning of the football season, and then they have different tournaments where it's like you can pay a quarter or you can pay $1 to go into this tournament. Once you enter the tournament, say there's 1,000 people that are in this tournament, you know, they break it down where they'll pay the top 50 places, and they'll break down the prices of what they're going to pay you. Once you're in the tournament, they give you 50,000 points, and each player, depending on how many or how good they are, their worth is different, and you have to make the best team you can possible with those 50,000 points, and then you get into that tournament. Well, most of the tournaments have at least, like, I've been in tournaments with fucking 100,000 people, dude, and they'll pay out to the first, like, the top, 20,000 people. Even if it's just a quarter you're still getting your quarter back. Andre was in first place, and he texted me, and there was like one game left. He lost them in the last game. The problem is when you're playing against so many people have the same team, where it's like you can be, or it's very, very close, where you can be losing by a point, but you're 100 places behind because 100 people have the same team. You know what I mean? So yeah. Anyways, he ended up getting pushed back and won like fucking $6,000. A lucky fucker. I think it was like the next day. The next time I saw him, I went up to him and see if he won. And bitch had on some fresh ass fucking shades, fresh ass Ray-Bans. I'm like, you motherfucker, man, coming to work looking clean as fuck, man. Extra money. Gonna wrap this fucker up.
Yeah. Let's wrap this up. So listen, you're watching this video on YouTube. We want you to comment, like, subscribe, share, all that jazz on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on iTunes. Please rate and comment our stuff on iTunes. Talk to us. Send us an email, transientthoughtspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes.
Like I said, you can find our personalized website at transientthoughtpodcast.libsyn.com. You can find all of our links to all that stuff right there on it messes me up every day on that website. Please pass it along, let everybody hear it, and hope you all have a good day.
Yes.
Good New Year.
Later, bitches. Oh, actually, hold on. Don't stop. In honor of the great Joey Diaz, the funniest motherfucker on the planet, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself. Big dicks in your ass is bad for your health, motherfuckers.
Peace out. Bye. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Transient Thoughts. Please head on over to iTunes to rate and comment on our show. Also add us on Facebook and Twitter to find out when we'll be live on Mixler again. See you next time here on Transient Thoughts Podcast.